Welcome everyone. We're about to begin an exciting panel discussion featuring Design Boulevard, Nebulous Design Workshop, Private Limited, DJ Designers, and JSW Dulux, as well as Mace Concept on color matrix intertwining form and perception. Before we begin, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all our valued brand and exhibitor partners, our experience partner JSW Dulux, our e-commerce partner RQ, our gallery partners Petraware, YBR Designs, Ozar Objects, Blue Dot Design, Object Theory, Datskari, Rev Ratan, Smartlight, Eco, Clear Art, Casa Karigar, Siddhant Dhariwal Designs, and Shape Furniture. We also express our sincere appreciation to our other exhibitor partners whose participation has been integral to this event. Now, as we move forward, it is time to introduce the brilliant minds who have joined us today to share their invaluable insights and expertise. Komal Menda, Principal Architect, Design Boulevard. Since 2014, architect Komal Menda has been a driving force behind the studio's evolving design language, shaping a practice that moves fluidly across disciplines and scales. Her work is anchored in a deep sensitivity to context and intent, creating spaces that are not just designed but thoughtfully experienced. With a sharp instinct for visualization, she approaches each project as a layered exploration of form, material, texture, and narrative. Her practice extends far beyond conventional boundaries, spanning architecture, interiors, product design, spatial storytelling, detail engineering, and the quieter, often unseen decisions that define how a space truly feels. Kiran Sabnani, Principal Interior Designer, Nebulous Design. Kiran is the director and principal interior designer at Nebulous Design, leading the studio with a focus on clarity, material depth, and spatial precision. Since 2006, her work has been shaped by early exposure to Dubai's evolving real estate landscape, informing a practice that balances analytical rigor and insight. Her work engages with context, culture, and human experience, shaping environments that are both deliberate and enduring. With a strong emphasis on detail, craftsmanship, and responsible practices, her portfolio spans residential and commercial projects articulated through a restrained yet highly functional design language that prioritizes longevity and spatial clarity. Aashish Raichuraa, Chief Architect, DJ Designers. Aashish Raichuraa is a design leader who blends legacy, discipline, and contemporary architectural thinking. A seventh-generation Coimbatorian, he carries forward a deep personal and cultural connection to the city he belongs to. With 15 years of professional experience, he heads DJ Designers, a practice established in 1987 by his father, engineer Dinesh Jayasi. Under his leadership, the firm has grown into a respected multidisciplinary studio known for refined, context-driven architectural and interior design across residential, commercial, institutional, and industrial sectors. Karishma Arora, JSW Dulux. Karishma Arora is a marketing and design professional driving color marketing and architect engagement for JSW Dulux. With over a decade of experience, she specializes in translating color and design insights into meaningful, market-relevant solutions. She has been instrumental in building platforms such as Dulux Maestro, strengthening collaboration between brands and the design community, as well as contributing to the industry conversations on color and spatial design. She has also led impactful Dulux Let's Color initiatives, including projects in Jodhpur and Spiti, using color to create positive community transformation. Koushik Ramesh is the co-founder of Mace Concept Design, a Bangalore-based architecture and design studio known for its contextual, narrative-driven, and climate-responsive approach to design. A graduate of the Ramaya Institute of Technology, he has worked on a diverse range of residential, hospitality, and adaptive reuse projects that emphasize craftsmanship, material sensitivity, and a strong connection to nature. Through Mace Concept, he collaborates closely with local artisans and skilled craftsmen to create spaces that are both functional and experiential. His work reflects a thoughtful balance between contemporary design, cultural influences, and sustainable architectural practices. It is now my pleasure to welcome you all to the stage.
Hi, welcome everyone. I just hope you're going to have a we're going to have a very interesting conversation here. Something that we don't hear, in any of the discussion design forums. So, the title of this discussion is Color Matrix: Intertwining Form and Perception. Color is not a decoration; it is identity, memory, emotion, and the invisible force that shapes how we experience space. The panel here, we are exploring the evolving language of Indian interiors through four critical lenses: color as emotional and psychological intelligence, the tension between historical palettes and modern minimalism, the sensory power of texture and materiality, and the future of culture expression in a rapidly globalizing world. From vernacular traditions to AI driven design futures, from handcrafted surfaces to digital perfection, the discussion, sorry, the discussion questions what is being lost and what must be redefined. Or do we really need to redefine something? At its core, okay, we are going to ask a vital question to our panel. Are we still designing spaces or we are designing experience itself? So, my first question actually goes to Komal. Okay. Sorry. My first question goes to Komal. Does the growing use of neutral palettes in luxury interiors reflect a preference for calm, or does it show a loss of cultural and emotional depth in design storytelling? What do you think about it?
Um, I don't think lack of using color or using neutral tones has anything to do with defining or not defining cultural identity as such. I think minimalism is being very vaguely understood as of lately. Uh, the same person who prefers to have calmer, neutral tones within a space could also be very deeply culturally rooted. So how do you attempt to solve that in a space by designing? I think the approach here should be balance. It shouldn't tip over to one side or it shouldn't tip over to the other as well. At the same time, restraint in using color is something which is very design dependent. It depends on how you are going to treat the space very individually for the client and how they perceive it. So
Kiran, what do you think about it? Because I have seen your work and you love to use color.
Well, you've seen a lot of work where the client actually likes color. So for me, design has always been personal. It's been about feelings and it's been about expressing of energy, emotions that you correctly said earlier. And if my client really likes color, he's the one that needs to feel belonged to his home. I understand there are trends, but that doesn't mean it needs to imply to a personality. For you, home is personal. And you can beautifully use colors, yet use it, as Komal said, very balanced way. It has to be restrained, wherein they're used as accents, but they don't overpower.
Ashish, what about you? You have your father and you have like collective, like generational experiences. And I'm sure your father has seen some different era altogether. And what do you think about it?
Uh, Basically, if you see, from my father's time when I was small, I was assisting him as well. We have Vastu consultants also coming in picture. And present day, if you see, the colors what we use, is very subtle colors, gray, light, like white color, or but when it comes to Vastu consultant, he takes your Kundli and astrology and he says that, Yellow color, if you use, it will be much better. So, but if you see the olden days, what our ancestrals were using, it was always bright color. But nowadays, if you see, it is very subtle, minimal. But in my design, I always use a one wall, which is always a bright, and that's it.
You strike a balance.
Yeah, I said it right.
Okay. So, Koushik, my next question is to you. When Le Corbusier used primary colors in Chandigarh's capital complex, was it a deliberate psychological intervention for civic identity or an aesthetic abstraction disconnected from lived emotional experience? What are your thoughts on this?
I think all of us know what Le Corbusier's style is. It's brutalism. And brutalism in general is a style that not many people accept because it's very, very bold. And in a way, this is one point. And another thing that I would like to say is primary colors form the base of every other color that we know. So they're the most important colors that are out there. And considering that it's the Chandigarh's legislative assembly, so that's where most of the important decisions also happen, which define the entire city. So I think there are two ways about it. That firstly, to like mellow down the brutalist architecture that's there by adding a bit of color, and another one would be to like primary colors have the highest wavelength as well, so you can just see it from a very long distance, and at the same time to give it prominence, to give it that stature. So I think that's maybe what was going on in his mind. Not sure.
So, Koushik, in Dulux, we do a lot of researches. And we have also seen that color is a way, color is also used for wayfinding. So if you have, like I've gone to that, I've actually seen this place, and this entire primary colors, that he has put also helps us to identify where to go. So that's the first thing that actually came to my mind, that is the reason. And obviously, he has developed his own color theory. He has his own colors, color collection that he has. So I guess his understanding of civic emotion was very high. And I've seen, that people either love him or hate him. So
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
debate.
That's
Yeah.
how brutalism is as well. So yeah.
Ashish, my next question is to you. How should architects balance culturally embedded color meanings in India, such as turmeric yellows and vermilion reds, with global minimalist trends that often suppress chromatic expression? What do you think about it?
If you see color, turmeric red or any other color, I don't know if many have heard about Chettinad courtyard houses. Now, in those days, like the people were aware that bright colors are being used, turmeric colors and red oxide floorings were being used. Now, again, the entire concept is coming back. Like if you go over there to a Dulux, thing, they have recreated again, even the concrete facade, what you have created, the bright blue colors. So it becomes a, what is it? Like before also Koushik had told, and you had also told, that it becomes a pathfinding as well. So I feel we are going in the right direction.
See, I don't think global minimal trends are setting the tone for design in general. Now, if you want to use vermilion reds and turmeric yellows, there are examples which are set, in the past, like he rightly mentioned, Chettinad houses. But there again, what is important to understand, at least for me, is why they used it that way, and what was the reason of covering the surface with that color, or for that matter, treating the surface in a particular way. So I think if you have to use it, again, there's a lot of methods of going about it. You can either highlight something which you really want to be highlighted in the project by using any of these finishes. And sometimes it is just to give that tactility to the surface where a person can touch, feel, and even resonate with the past. So again, balance, I would say.
Well, I also feel where they both come from, agreeing to them, but I also feel design should not lose its cultural and heritage touch. The soul of the project, the identity needs to be retained, specifically when you have clients with Indian origin. Like I had a client who wanted a modern transformation, but he was complete Indian by heart. So I had to get into the picture and reinforce saying, look, sir, modernity is really good, but don't lose the soul of the project. And that's where the colors come in, and probably that's one of the projects you've seen. And today, he identifies to it. When I started selecting colors, he went for all bright, loud colors. And I had to calm him down and say, I've allowed you, but don't get that far. So we as designers need to come in and we create that balance, making sure the soul of the project is maintained, retained.
Hello? No, it's okay. You know, like we feel, and given, my experience, we feel that color.
I think adding to that, like if you see the colors that, at least in our tradition and culture that we have, I think we are so diverse as a country, right? So every state you go, there is a different color that sort of represents the culture. And in a way, I feel like these colors have originated from the spices that we produce. And India was known for its spices, and they're very colorful, most of them. So maybe that was also like how they originated. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah.
True. Hey, Koushik, next question to you. So, research commissioned by Dulux, repeatedly explores how color influences mood and behavior. Should architects be expected to understand color psychology with the same rigor they apply to structure, light, and spatial planning?
Yes, 100%. I think there's no compromise on that, because you can, as architects and designers, we can just create spaces, but actually what brings in life to that space is through color. It's what makes you feel a few emotions that you feel when you enter a space. So like how you have like the warmer tones of colors and the cool tones of colors, they always are associated with a certain emotion. So, and all of us are very adaptive to senses. So it is a sensory thing that's there.
Ashish, what's your take on that?
See, as you rightly told, it is correct. But for me, when you see, I'll just give an example, live example. If you go to Calcutta or Mumbai, you see a taxi, that's always yellow color. But when you come to Bangalore or other places, it's white. It's hard to believe,
The Kali Pili.
So now the entire trend is changing right now. If you ask a small kid, what does the police station, what is the color? He says red color. Or hospital, that's monotone. So this is where architects, I feel we have to play a major role. I mean, taught in the college as well, that, when you change something, you're forcing something to be changed. We are going towards totally modernism at present. And we are losing the touch of the Indian. Like example I told you, that yellow color means by seeing itself, that the taxi is coming. But right now, it's very hard. You have to search the number plate. So I feel that.
But it's not. I'm also a design student, by the way. But it's what I've seen is that color is just like one small class, you know. And generally in all the colleges, they just teach you about color psychology or the color wheel. And then the expectation is that the architects and designers, they know everything about color. Whereas I feel that it takes a lot of emotional load. So, and I think corporates like us, brands like us are also responsible, for that. So not just architecture colleges. Yeah. My next question is to you. Coming from, I've seen your work and I feel this question, is perfect for you. When studying Laurie Baker's cost-effective vernacular architecture, we find that material honesty naturally generates a restrained yet culturally grounded palette. Why has contemporary architecture distanced itself from this approach? And should architects and designers be making a conscious return to it?
Absolutely, yes. You see, Baker's work stands out because of material honesty. You see him again using a lot of natural, or as Koushik said, brutal materials. So we see a lot of play with jali, with concrete, we see with lime plasters, we see it with a lot of carved wood inside, and even the colors used there are very earthy tones. Now, what happens here is these colors also reflect or connect to it because these are materials which are there in our culture. And they very smartly play with light, with climate, with the atmosphere. And over time, they develop a place of memory, which design is all about. It's about a personal connect with the space. So I feel we as designers need to go back and not see trends, but see personal connect to the space.
So, Koushik, a follow-up question to you.
Yeah.
But why? We all know that that's the sustainable way of, or that's where the future should be. But why aren't we going ahead with it?
See, sustainability is not just about using bricks or natural materials, right? It's about being conscious about how that material is produced. It can be an eco-friendly material, even that's sustainable. So I feel like sustainability is misunderstood. Um, People just think that sustainability is about having a lot of plants and mud blocks and all of that. Yeah, that is sustainability, but there is another part of that as well where we use concrete. If you look at the Western countries, right, they don't use concrete as much as we do, and concrete is the largest, most polluting material that is there to use. So it's again a personal choice for everyone. So the aesthetic of one person is what we have to respect, and some people might like more of materials which are more warmer, which are more earthy, whereas some people might like materials or designs that are contemporary, but even they might have something towards sustainability. And as architects, it's our right to like educate them on what sustainability actually is and how those materials can make an impact in the project. So
But when it comes to scale, we always struggle with that, right? Because these kind of techniques, we can't scale it the way we would like to.
yeah, so modularism is a big thing now. I think that's there in one of the I mean, modular is the future, and uh, it has killed a lot of aesthetics for sure. But yeah.
Komal, this is for you. Has global modernism influenced by Le Corbusier and Bauhaus principles unintentionally erased indigenous color vocabularies that once defined regional architectural identity?
There are two ways of looking at this. Modernism, when it was introduced here, according to us, brought in a lot of clarity and discipline in architecture. The approaches were a lot more clearer on how to go about building a space or how to treat it. At the same time, it did flatten the regional nuances. And that happened because of, according to me again, it is because it was interpreted wrongly. Because at the core of what modernism is, it's basically priority. What are you layering the building with, and what is your priority, and what would you want to focus on? Because at that time, when industrial revolution and everything took place, there was scarcity of material. So there was an active discussion, and what led to that as a solution was this. Now, modernism is limited to showing things minimally. Now, whether that makes sense or doesn't make sense is a whole different conversation, but I think it's reduced down to that. Does that necessarily eliminate cultural identity? No. Because if utilized the right way and done in the right manner, cultural identity can coexist with modernism.
And you think social media is playing a vital role in that?
Yes, I think with social media coming into play, it has definitely opened up a lot more avenues in terms of visual awareness. People are now understanding aesthetics a lot better. When you have conversations with clients now, they are able to understand from where we are coming visually. But also, this is accelerated performative design. It's just for show sometimes. And therein lies the problem. Maybe what we have to do is step back and then rethink on how we're doing this and how we're going about it. As all of us, as designers, I say.
Okay, thanks. Ashish, this is for you. Are contemporary designers unintentionally recreating colonial era restraint in color usage while claiming to be globally contemporary and minimal? It's an extension of what we just talked, actually.
100% yes, we are moving, as I had told before also, we are moving towards a totally modern concept, having, when you design a house, it becomes, they have a glass facade, a big glass facade, and a gray concept, that's it, or a white color. Then what happens? Example over here, I want to give an example every time when I talk, so it becomes a physical connect also. Now you go to Rameshwaram Cafe, what is that? Just a black color, entire thing. You have a terracotta jali work, that's it. So it becomes a colonial. Now even when the Britishers came over here in India, they have actually changed the entire thing, and we are just following that. That's the practical thing. But in olden days, if you go to Jaipur, till now, they are following their own concept. They are not changing it. Maybe down the line, if you go, say 50 years also, it is going to be the same. But to her extension, if you have a house in Bangalore, a Rajasthani or anybody is there, Rajasthani person is there, he brings in his own design, the carvings and all in a Jaroka pattern in his own house. So that is an extension of him coming to Bangalore and continuing. So I think that should be carried forward, and we should not leave it.
I think what I've also seen is that, yes, we talk a lot about minimalistic, being minimalistic, but I think we are Indians. We somewhere or the else we bring that element of color, whether it's through textiles, or probably through some flooring. But we always try to bring something into it. We cannot just detach ourselves with our Indian heritage. Okay, Kiran, this is for you. In contemporary Indian interiors dominated by digital finishes and synthetic surfaces, are we losing the sensory touch richness that handcrafted textures once provided in Indian architecture?
Yes, I like to agree with that. But again, if there's an intention, I would say it all depends on the designer. But overall, all the spaces across are looking digitally perfect. And the sad part is, all these spaces are looking similar. It could
Absolutely.
be across
Yeah.
cities, across different geographical location. They are all the same. What's the sad part is we are losing our regional touch. And that's where we as designer bring it in with textures, because this is where the heart and soul of the project goes back. It goes back to the emotions. It goes back to our culture, our connectivity. And it all comes with the layering that we do in form of surfaces, textures, craft, a lot of elements that goes back to our local character.
Koushik, what do you think about it? You have,
think-
you kind of master designing spaces that are quite rooted, in context. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, so it is the single most important thing for designing any space is you need to understand where it is placed. Like she mentioned, things are getting very boring. So that's for sure. And if you just look at our metro stations, right? I mean, they should be like the symbol of a city, of a growing city, but they are giving more preference to functionality rather than how it actually looks. And yeah, it is serving the function for sure, but then is it really making you feel proud of living in a city, in the city, right? When you look at or when you compare the public infrastructure or metro stations of other cities, it doesn't. So in a way, I think for us, so we live in a society, right? So for us, we would do things if we see others doing them. So I think it's in our builders and the government where they do so many projects, and I see that these projects are always inspired from some city in Europe or something out of India, but never within India. And they say that that sells. So if it starts happening at that scale, then people will start adapting it more. So yeah.
To just add to what he's saying, I would like to appreciate the Bangalore Terminal 2 as a contrast. It's been very intentional. And you see
I
the
love that.
difference. Yeah,
I
when
love
you
it.
walk in, you can feel the atmosphere so different and you connect to it.
So, because we are a paints brand, and there are two insights that I would like to share. There is a growing demand of, a transparent coat, especially for red bricks. A growing demand. It's like one product that is a huge demand all across India. So, which means that the usage of red bricks is increasing. So that's a great thing to see. So, and also, I am seeing we do a lot of trend workshops and all as well. And we also monitor, what kind of colors are getting sold across different cities. And I'm actually seeing a rise in warmer colors, which I feel, which is such a great news for me, because there was a time when only whites and grays were selling. What a boring time it was. Yeah. Okay. Ashish, this is for you. How do we distinguish between the authentic cultural maximalism of Rajasthan's palaces and heritage homes and the superficial layering of motifs and decor that is often marketed today as Indian aesthetics?
So if you see in Rajasthan, you have more of jali work and the pink color and all. So previously, I had just given you an example also that a person from Rajasthan, if he comes to Bangalore, he uses his own culture. So that again, I see that it is being carried forwarded. But nowadays, if you see almost all the buildings, many of the buildings, we use jali walls. Maximum right now, terracotta or ceramics is being used. But it has to be used in a right way, because just for aesthetic wise, you put it in the north side, it doesn't serve the purpose. No, that also has to be intentionally done. Just because somebody is using Jali facade, okay, let's use it. Many of my clients, they come to my office, they say, sir, he has used, there is Pinterest, Google is there. So, let's use that. I told, it is not necessary for your building, but that they have that sense, that some of the other photos and all comes, in internet pops up. So then they want to use that.
Komal, what do you think about it? Maximalism is one word. I think after Sabyasachi and all, everyone wants to have a maximalist home.
I think there again, I beg to differ, because the definition of maximalism is not visual clutter, or for that matter, everything all at one place. The entire definition of maximalism is basically when someone accumulates craft or memory over a period of time that relates to them, and this can be over generations, all packed into probably one home that gives you that character. There, it makes a lot of difference, because once you remove that out of the picture, then it's nothing. So it renders a lot more meaning to the word maximalism there. Whereas you copy, paste this into a smaller space and try to fit in everything under the sun into that this thing, where it may not be even without meaning. It could not even relate to who lives within those spaces. There, it gets a little tricky. So
it has to be intentional.
Yes, definitely, and has to be curated. I would say, not intentional.
Yeah, maximalism as a trend also, it's not an easy trend. So one needs to have that kind of flair, or one needs to understand the trend to put it together.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Even with the Rajasthani architecture, why it came to be about that way is what has to be understood. Why jalis came into place, why all of these architectural elements were brought in to the building, because they were performing. There was a reason why all of these elements were placed. Now you remove that out of the context, and you just use it as a aesthetic this thing. There it gets little tricky.
And that is something we see, when we go to a lot of resorts in Rajasthan. We see that people have just put things together, and they look out of place.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Komal, sorry, Kiran, this is for you. I'm so sorry, Kiran. When social media aesthetics increasingly drive interiors, how do we protect cultural depth from becoming visual performance rather than lived spatial experience?
I think we've already discussed this.
We discussed that.
We need to revisit it.
I also think, that designers, interior designers, architects like you should be more active on Instagram so that people can learn from your aesthetics as well.
Trying to be, if we have the time and the bandwidth.
No, and social media is a boon and a bane, right? So it helps us understand our clients well, because not everyone can express what they want, and also confuses them. They'll just see so many things, and that's where we come in and we sort of help them out and streamline that.
That's dangerous too.
They just know too much. Yeah.
The whole thing.
Okay. Koushik, this is for you. If Indian architecture is to emerge as a global cultural export by 2047, should it lean into expressive maximalism or refine a new language that balances restraint with cultural intensity?
So it has to be a new language, because maximalism again is not for everyone. And I think we should start embracing our own culture first. That is the single most important thing. Like, promote local craftsmen, promote local brands, local designers. If you look at Europe, that's what they do. That's what they've been doing. That's what they still do. Even a person who designs a chair, they connect with it so emotionally because it's so deeply embedded in them. But I don't know if it's our colonial mindset or how it was that even we were like that at a point, but it changed. And now we're struggling to go back to that. But like you said, maybe by 2047 it happens. And I can see the signs right now. If you look at Prada right now, Western culture is looking at Kolhapuri. I mean, Prada is looking at Kolhapuri chappals, and they're
Thanks to social
promoting
media
that.
for that. Actually.
Yeah. And if you look at the Met Gala, right? So prominent figures from our country should promote Indian heritage, and of course in movies as well. So that's the single most way the culture gets spread. So yeah.
Chandigarh chair is quite an example of that, right? Yeah. Komal, what do you think about it?
I have a slightly different perspective to this. My question is, why can't both coexist? Because at the moment, there are a lot of brands that are being pushed forward within the country that are going international as well. There are other architects and other designers all along globally that are utilizing these brands. At the same time, the usage of this is limited within their projects. Now apply that vice versa. We push forward a lot of cultural identity into our projects, but those one or two pieces which can sit within this dialogue, I mean, why not? At the end of the day, there is comfort, there is, there are a lot more other factors which you have to take into consideration. Architecture in general has not become globally influential just because of cultural identity. It has become influential because of how you treat a space. Climate, light, interaction between the indoor, outdoor. There's a lot of factors which get, considered when you're actually planning a space. The cultural identity is basically a cherry on top of the cake. Now, if you're able to pull all of this off within the regional, and still keep it globally relatable, then you have a good mixture. That's what I would think.
I feel that anything that has a great story or the narrative is strong, and any design that is honest,
Yeah.
I think, it will reach wherever, like it will reach to new heights.
Yes.
Yeah?
You can take B.V. Doshi's work, for example. I mean, it's not just about cultural references within his projects. It's more about how he went about accessing human experience and human comfort. There was a lot of empathy when he went about doing it, because he really understood the needs of people, but went about it globally. He did not, restrict himself within the scene, but he got recognized globally because of that. So, fine balance, I would say.
Yeah. Kiran, would you like to comment about this?
I would agree to both. And I would also say that if you see, our designers are getting very conscious, and they are trying to use and incorporate a lot of locality than imitation. You see, design is no more about imitation, and those designs are in fact more recognized. Even if you see the panels at ELEV8, they have recognized designs which are authentic, which is the beauty of it. And I feel we as a country, we as a design need to influence the world. And it flows naturally in us, yeah. Let's just dive deep and bring it out.
That's beautiful. Okay. Komal, that's for you. Drawing from your projects where design is deeply tied to everyday living and emotional experience, have you seen color fundamentally transform how people feel, behave, or connect within a space? Should it be treated as a core design tool rather than simply a finishing element?
Yes, it should be something which can be of core value when you go about it designing. There's no two ways about it. It definitely has to be part of your design process. Yes, I have seen how color can impact a space and how clients perceive it. Because for us, within our projects, whenever we do design presentations with clients, we have this thing where we show the space with the element and without the element. It could be anything. I mean, in this case, color, but you can choose anything. You can, like a furniture piece or a design treatment on the wall or lighting detail, which you bring in to sort of just uh, up the aesthetics in the treatment of the space. And then we sit back and observe how the client takes it. Sometimes most of the projects that turn out to be really good, some of the best projects that we've done, the client has immediately related to the space, the first go, when they see it before and after. And that reaction tells you everything about it. Because at the end of the day, why is color brought in or why is that design element brought in? It is because it has to relate emotionally to the user at the end of the day. And Muzammil and I have this thing where after every presentation, we, once the work starts on site, whenever someone walks into the site, it's not me and him interacting and explaining the design, it's always the client. And it's a good feeling because then true ownership begins and then they start to feel that it belongs to them. And I think that is a job well done.
Beautiful. Kiran, that's for you. Drawing from your work, in which materiality and spatial composition play a defining role, do you think contemporary design is losing its richness of regional colors and textures in pursuit of minimalism? I think we have more or less covered, this. Would you like to explain this, or
I think we can pass.
we can? Okay,
Glad
perfect.
I'm getting the passing question.
Koushik, that's for you. Known for your projects with layered details and strong experiential character, how can designers move beyond visual appeal to design experiences that people truly remember years later?
So when me and Priyanka design any project, right, we really try to understand. Firstly, we try to understand what the requirement is, where the project is, all of that, and the context, like I was talking about earlier. So I'll like to explain this question through one of our projects. So there's a project that we did in Goa called Dubki. So it's on a cliff next to a sea. So our client gave us a free hand to like come up with any concept, and then we wanted to bring in that fluidity into the space. So how we went about designing the space was that we didn't have any sharp edges anywhere. We used cool colors throughout the space, pastels, and very warm tones with wood, and kept the space open. So that's how we went about designing the space. But you know, as architects and designers, it's very important that, especially when you're designing a space for the public, you go beyond that. What we usually do is like we work very closely with the client and the branding agency, who's part of building that whole product. So only, you know, I'll tell you why this is important. Because when we say Dubki, right? Dubki is like just plunging into the sea, and you see where it's located, right? Already by listening to the name, you're in Goa, you're listening to the name, and you're like, yeah, we're in, okay, it might be next to a beach, let's go there. So you already have the hook there for any customer. And then after that, it's about that customer entering the space and seeing things around you and getting that hook through small branding elements. So if you look at the new experiential pubs and bars that have come around in Bangalore, it's more about the experience now rather than that. And as designers, you have to go one step above. And that's the advice I would say, like, you know, be part of that project from, you know, the whole branding to everything that goes into it to make that space. So only then you can create that experience for your customer, and only then will they connect with it emotionally, truly connect with it emotionally, and remember the space and, you know, want to come back for more. Yeah.
So basically, it should not just be seen; it should be felt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ashish, this is for you. Navigating multiple scales of architecture and interiors, where functionality and material expression come together, do you feel that today's engineered and digitally perfected finishes are diluting that tactile depth? How can it be fixed?
100% yes. We are losing the connect at present. So in this, I would like to give every time I'll give an example. So it becomes easy, what it is. So now if you see a farmhouse in Coimbatore, it has become a very viral thing, he has created with a ferro cement, and then he has done it with mud lippen paint, and it's really mud finish. So you can touch it. Now when we go to bunga houses in Gujarat, that's again a lippen art. You can touch and feel that. Same thing as B.V. Doshi, he has done it in Sept College. Many of architects will be knowing that B.V. Doshi Gufa. It's just a plain concrete finish. You can touch that, the Gufa. But on the top, if you see, there are multiple domes with mosaic. There also you can sit and feel. So 100%, I think that there is a loss in modern concept. But many architects right now are going towards that. And I think that we should not forget that. Modern, yes, you go to Singapore, you see the same building. You go to Dubai, you see the same building. In India also the same building, with grey and white, as I told you. But this, what we should not lose that, This is our Indian culture.
But I am seeing, that a lot of like Dubai and Singapore, they are also trying to go back. Yes.
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 100%. But if you see, I have also worked in Singapore. That time, they are all skyscrapers. You can't do anything. It's just the plain thing. So I think in India, we can do something, and which we should not lose that.
Please come to Bombay.
And one more thing I just want to add in. If you see in Coimbatore, I'm basically from Coimbatore. We had from Triple ID, we had designed the entire compound wall also with yards we scale, different yards. It's a 300 feet wall. We had designed it actually from Triple ID. And my wife was the chairperson during her time only. And, that compound wall was basically a government compound wall which had a plain white color seamless wall, where no activities were going on. But if you come to Coimbatore right now, you go there, somebody or the other children's come, they take photographs. Sunday becomes a happening place. So that connect is there still. They come, they touch that. That feeling has to be there.
Suddenly, you have given life to that wall. Huh. So we are quite in the end of our segment here, and it's a rapid fire round. Okay, we'll start with you. So, color in interiors, emotional intelligence or surface decoration?
Emotional intelligence.
What about you, Aashish?
Emotional.
Komal?
Yes, emotional intelligence.
And Koushik?
Emotional intelligence.
All of us agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Did modernism liberate Indian design or flatten its identity?
Flatten its identity.
I think both.
I was expecting this from you, Komal.
No, I mean, I have given reasons enough to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100% both.
Kiran? Maximalism, cultural identity or visual overload?
Well, it's beautiful when curated, as Komal said earlier, but it can be overwhelming when it's excessive.
True, same.
I agree.
Same. Yeah.
Okay. Handcrafted finishes, essential future or nostalgic luxury?
It's 100% nostalgic luxury. So, because again, we are in the age of industrialization, and it's cheaper when you get things done from machine, and automatically something handcrafted moves on to be something that's more expensive. So, yeah, it is nostalgic luxury.
Okay.
Yeah.
Komal, what do you think?
Both. I think both, yes.
Okay.
Because it has to be an essential part of people's homes now, and it has to inflict nostalgia. I mean, otherwise it's not doing its work.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Ashish, your view?
Sometimes 50-50, you can say that.
Okay. And Kiran?
I'd just like to add that it needs to have a connect with the story, because if it's not having a connect, it would be meaningless.
Yeah.
So that's important there.
Fair point. Is texture as important as color in spatial experience? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. 100.
No, texture actually gives color emotion. The tactility of it is what makes you relate to the color after a point. So it's all about how you perceive it.
Okay,
It's texture is important, yes.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you for active participation. Do we have any questions? I don't see anyone asking questions. Okay, I think everything was very interesting for everyone. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
To mark this moment, I would like to invite architect Bharat Krishna and architect Yamini Patel, managing directors of Architect's Diary, to please come and felicitate our panelists. A big thank you to our panelists as well as our managing editors. As we wrap up today's sessions, we've experienced 4 incredible, inspiring, and powerful talks and sessions at ELEV8 Bengaluru 2026, including 1 keynote speech, 1 masterclass, and 2 panel discussions. This morning, we began with a keynote speech by architect Prem Chandavarkar on the practice as a garden. This was followed by a panel discussion featuring Source Architecture, the Purpling Studio, and V Spaces on Beyond Sustainability, the Next Interior Shift. Next, we had a masterclass by Suman Rodham and Kamakshi Vellore from Bamboo Pecker on turning a problem into a resource, the Lantana Shift. Finally, we wrapped up with an insightful panel discussion featuring Design Boulevard, Nebulous Design Workshop Private Limited, DJ Designers, Mace Concept, and JSW Dulux, titled Color Matrix, Intertwining Form and Perception. Finally, we'll wrap up day 2 with the most awaited Kalare Payattu at 6:30 p.m., an ancient martial art form from Kerala, emphasizing agility and strength. In the meantime, don't miss out on the thoughtfully curated sheets and other displays exhibited in the corridor as well as in the gallery rooms. Please stay tuned for the next performance. We will be having it outside, so you'll don't need to come back in. Thank you.